Alrighty, welcome back everyone. So unfortunately I am a bit late to the party, but we did get our producer letter for the month of May a few days ago. With it we got information on some new event updates, some quality of life changes if you will, some schedule updates. We also did get the reveal for our part 2 LR, which I'm sure many of you already know who it is. It is a tag, Kale and Cauliflower, who are a Carnival LR by the way. So a lot of cool stuff came as a part of this letter, which is why today in this vid, we're going to go ahead and just do our typical general overview on this letter, breaking down all of the important information to pull from it, because there is a lot of stuff that we all need to know as players going forward into the rest of 2025. So I am very excited for this. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you guys will enjoy the vid. If you do, show your support, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your thoughts. With that being said, let's get right into this. So there are a lot of different things that they kind of brought up. A lot of things really kind of focused on, I guess, technically quality of life changes and some event updates and stuff to look forward to. The first thing they mentioned is this wallpaper stuff. So I believe they've mentioned it now for like a few weeks now at least, but basically, you know, every month we're able to get 3 reward tickets by beating the panel missions every month. So, you know, obviously everyone should be beating the panel missions, but if you beat these panel missions, you're getting 3 tickets. Every 3 tickets will, you know, you'll accumulate it, you'll like come together. Then during the 11th anniversary, which is going to be happening, you know, at the end of January, of course, then we can exchange these tickets for wallpapers in the campaign. Now, the way they explain it, there are several types of wallpapers, which I'm not sure how exactly they define it. Maybe it's like different, maybe it's different wallpapers altogether, maybe different styles of wallpapers, who knows? But those different wallpapers will exist, and you can exchange 10 tickets for the different styles. So, you know, obviously, you want to go ahead, beat these missions, you know, accumulate the tickets. That will let you get the wallpapers. It's not the most important thing in the world, you know, it's really just kind of like a minor thing at best, but it is nice that we are able to like kind of look forward to the 11th anniversary. Obviously, we do have some form of understanding that the 11th anniversary is going to happen. I know some people were saying maybe this is the end of Dokkan, but, you know, 11th anniversary is going to happen. We're getting ready for it, you know, slowly but surely, so, you know, a very minor kind of thing in the grand scheme of things, but I am glad that we have this kind of to look forward to. Obviously, do the panel missions. It's a reason to play the game. Why not do it? So, very general kind of stuff there, but still nice to have it. Next thing up, so this is where I would say the quality of life changes and the event updates kind of come together, but they're very important. So, first thing you see right here, you know, with the seriously serious, you know, event, which again, I can't believe they really went with this title. They really dove into the PyCon meme, which I'm glad for it, but it's just funny to me. Anyways, every month we will be getting a new stage, and with the new stage we'll be getting extra missions. So obviously with the first stage that we have, of course, if you guys remember, that of course features a fight against, I believe it's Super Saiyan Blue Goku specifically. It gives us, you know, special tickets that can be used on the Premier Summon banners right now, which are the Golden Week banners, and it also gives us some extra missions for more Dragon Stones. So every month we can get a new stage with more tickets and stuff. This is going to be it's going to be awesome. Now I'll go into the tickets in just a bit greater detail in just a sec, but the fact of the matter is, everyone who's done the first stage and everything, you guys understand, these tickets are so helpful because, you know, whether you're free to play or spend or whatever, these are more opportunities to summon on the premier banners for the premier characters. So why not get them? Why not have them? Why not use them? This is awesome. And the fact that they're doing this every month, that is really awesome as well. Now, I will say, the way they kind of explain this, you know, there may be an opportunity for some, you know, like accumulation or like stockpiling, if you will, in terms of the tickets. I'll kind of go into greater detail in just a sec on that, but just understand, it is kind of interesting that they're adding these stages. I'm kind of curious how this will work out going to like next few months, but this is going to be very fun for sure. And I will say, you know, to the event's credit, the event itself is not the most difficult event. It's not the easiest, I would say, but it's not the most difficult either. It is kind of fun. The challenges are kind of nice there with the missions and stuff. I think this is one of the better, like this is one of the more fun events for me in terms of the overall, you know, game, like I enjoy running this at times, you know, so I'm very excited to see how this is going to keep going forward. But yeah, the special tickets, you know, we'll be able to get that every month, it seems. Definitely something to look forward to, definitely something to take advantage of, because, I mean, why not? There's no reason not to, right? So definitely do that. Next thing, this is one of the biggest kind of updates, it seems like, for the game. So we are going to be getting summon points. Now, this is not the same thing as a pity necessarily. This is not the same thing as, you know, getting a guaranteed copy of the new unit or stuff like that. This is something completely different. So basically, you get 1 summon point by doing a multi-summon, which lets you recruit 10 characters. So every multi you do will let you get 1 summon point. Once you get a certain number of these points, right, then you can, you know, go into a shop and exchange them for like a specific type of summon ticket, which can be used on specific ticket summons. Now, worth mentioning, obviously, you know, can be done with multi-summons. They say right here, you cannot get these summon points by doing single summons. Now, overall, the game has really kind of tried its best to steer people away from the single summon focus for quite some time. I mean, if you think about it, you get buy 3 get 1s like with the Golden Week banners. That's a reason not to do single summons, because you have to do multis for that. You know, you get all these featured characters with like buy 2 multis, buy 1 more multi for a featured SSR and stuff. There's a lot of reasons to no longer do single summons. Even multis give you guaranteed SSRs. However, I feel like this is kind of like the icing on the cake in that sense. I don't want to say that this is like the final straw, because maybe they'll do more. But this just feels like icing on top of a cake that says, hey, do more multi-summons, because now you get summon points on top of that, which you don't get with single summons. So, you know, if you guys have been doing singles still at this point in time, I think this is the sign that you guys need to convert to the multi-summon kind of focus. Also, they do say here, the amount of summon points you can get from a specific summon is limited. So the way they're kind of implying this is you can only get a certain number of amount and stuff. We don't know how much that is quite yet, but they want you to basically spread out your summons so that you can get more summon points. So, you know, all the different banners, you can accumulate summon points from them all, so you might as well spread out your summons in that specific sense, which is kind of an interesting kind of focus, and I do kind of like that idea, but it is very interesting nonetheless. So that's something right there. And also, the characters available from the tickets are going to be different from regular summons. So, you know, the way they've described this, and this is still kind of interesting to me because we have no idea how it's going to work quite yet. They are going to be for special types of ticket summons, you know, for a Dokkan Fest ticket summon and for a Carnival/Yellow Coin LR ticket summon. So 2 different types of summons. Those summons will be different from regular summons with the premier characters. So we don't know exactly what's going to look like. We don't know exactly who's going to be a part of it and everything. But we do know it's going to be different. It's going to be different from the special rainbow tickets that we just saw. It's going to be different from your typical tickets that you may have on Global and stuff. It's going to be different from all that stuff. So I'm very excited for this. We're going to see how it looks, of course, but it is worth mentioning, we won't see this in action until the end of May when our next Dokkan Fest comes out. So when our next Dokkan Fest comes out, that is when this system will be put into place. So until then, we're just going to have to speculate and kind of wait and see what's going to happen and, you know, just keep playing the game. That's basically what we got to do. So pretty simple stuff there. Okay, so the summon points is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very important to look forward to. The next thing, this is very important as well. I didn't realize that we didn't really have this for like the past 10 years, but now we're getting a special day for Dokkan. So every time when you log in on the 15th and the 30th of every month, you can go ahead and do some events and stuff. That will give you these special tickets, which are of course similar to the ones from Seriously Serious, which will let you do special ticket summons on the premier banners. So very important stuff right there. Understand, you know, they only happen twice a month, right? 15th and 30th, and they may not happen during the large scale campaigns, which one example is going to probably be the anniversary, right? So we probably won't see this during the anniversary, so that is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. The summons you can use the ticket on will vary based on the time in which you obtain this, the summon ticket, so I'll come back to that in just a sec. But also, you know, the event duration stuff may change. You know, the international version, they show you the time span. Basically, as long as you log in on the day and do some special events and stuff, you should be able to get the ticket, and that should be it. So very simple stuff, really just incentivizing players to play the game more, which I really do appreciate, because lately it seems like a lot of players are just getting burnt out with the game. They don't want to play the game as much, you know, there's not much reason to do so. These are the things that are going to bring players back into the game or make them play the game more. This is what they need to do, and I'm really glad they're leaning into this direction. I will say right now, and maybe I'll make a separate vid on it, it feels like Dokkan 2025, it's had its flaws for sure. You know, unit quality is pretty bad, I would say, overall. But it feels like they are making a fantastic effort to really help out the free-to-play players and players in general from a free-to-play perspective. So I am really happy about that. I'm really glad they're focusing on that direction, because I think that is something that's going to transcend a unit quality in that sense. But, you know, it really seems like they're leaning into that focus, so I'm really glad they're doing that. Now, going back to this, right? So, you know, they say the summons you can use the ticket on will vary based on the time in which you obtain the summon ticket. So the way they've been explaining this, and this is very interesting, is when you acquire the ticket, it can be used only for a certain period of time with the banner that is associated with it, which I guess they mean to say is that right now, let's say hypothetically, if we get the tickets right now for the part 1 of the Golden Week celebration, we can only really use them for the part 1 Golden Week banners, but we can't use them for the part 2 banners and stuff like that. You know, a month or two down the line, if we get the tickets for a special Dokkan Fest, we can't use them for a future banner. So it's very interesting in that sort of sense. Basically, what that means is that you need to use the tickets eventually once you get them. So there's a certain time frame. Once the tickets become invalidated, as they explain, you know, if you wait too long, the tickets will no longer be usable, so they'll be kind of wasted. So you do have to use them. But I will say, going back to Seriously Serious, this does make me wonder, is there a way to stockpile some of these tickets and save them for a big kind of banner altogether? Because, you know, yes, this is kind of like a time gated because you have to do it on a certain days. The Seriously Serious, that's just an event. So if you can just wait and build all the stages, in theory, you can get all the tickets at once. That can be for a special banner, and then bam, all of a sudden, you're just spending all your tickets on that. You're basically getting a bunch of multis without even having to spend your stones. So those are the things I'm kind of looking at and eyeballing and saying, hey, I wonder if this can work. We have no official kind of news in game to kind of confirm this idea or stuff. This is really just theory crafting for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, because I think this is how it's going to work. But if we're not able to stockpile it, it is what it is. If we can, that can be very powerful, because that means you can save it not just for a random Dokkan Fest, you could save it for some of the big banners, you know, some of the better banners, you know, in certain situations, carnival banners, for example. You could wait 2 or 3 banners, and then all of a sudden all these characters start to rerun, you maybe don't have them, and now the tickets become even more valuable. So there's a lot of stuff that kind of comes to mind when it comes to this focus. But yeah, all sorts of cool stuff right there. It's just great. Now, the next thing they showed is the Carnival LR. So again, you know, in my last vid where I kind of predicted the producer letter and stuff, if you guys saw that vid, of course, you know, I said this could be the first time we get a Carnival LR for the Golden Week celebration. I even said it. Dokkan will continue to do something until they decide they don't want to do it no more. Before they've done Yellow Coin LRs, this is the first time they decided, you know what, let's make a Carnival LR. So this, in theory, should be the way going forward, is we'll get a Carnival LR, and that'll be for the Golden Week celebration, which is awesome. Of course, it is a tag Caulifla and Kale, so it starts off as Caulifla, you can exchange into Kale, and that's pretty much it. So we see the LR. The art is looking so clean, by the way. Their kit is already out, so I'll make a separate vid on that, breaking it down in really great detail. I've actually not seen the kit, and I've not seen the animations quite yet, but I will make a separate vid on that, because I think it's worth its own vid, right? So look at that, of course. But yeah, Carnival LR, a tag character, these are the things I suspected will happen with this producer letter, and I'm glad they did it, because the Golden Week celebration, part 1 was kind of mid, kind of lacking, overall that is. Part 2 needed to end off the celebration on a really high note, and, you know, it's really good that they did a tag character, which we haven't seen since the 10th anniversary, and a Carnival LR for the first time ever for the Golden Week celebration. So really good stuff there. Now, one thing worth mentioning, and I'll probably explain this in greater detail in my other vid, kind of breaking down the kit more, there apparently is no LR Kefla. Apparently, LR Kefla is not a part of this unit, which is very surprising. A lot of people are kind of laughing at it, but also, a lot of people are also pretty pissed off with this, and I understand why, because, you know, for me, LR Kefla was not my personal preference, but if we were gonna get, you know, Kale and Caulifla, we had to get Kefla. Like, that feels kind of obvious, right? But apparently not, so who knows? But, you know, for me, I think it is kind of a wasted opportunity that they didn't do Kefla. Maybe they'll do it sometime down the line, but they should have done it now. I feel like all the stars were kind of aligned in that aspect. So that's just my general thoughts there. For the summon period, it is worth mentioning. Right now is May 12th when I'm recording this. So, you know, we're going to be getting the summon starting in a few days from now on May 14th. It'll go till the end of the month, so we can look forward to that, of course. Great stuff there. They show their exchange and everything, the LR and everything, which is really awesome. Perfect duo, interesting name. I don't think they're the perfect duo, but they are a really good synergistic duo. So, yeah, Kale and Caulifla, they were probably one of the best picks for a tag mechanic, kind of the obvious picks, but really great stuff there. I know some people are hoping for androids to get the same kind of love, but yeah, really great stuff. I'm glad they went with this. Some people were thinking this could be a sign that we're getting Daima for part 2 because of the producer letter. I'm glad they didn't do that, because that would have felt like such a cash grab. This, I mean, it is kind of a cash grab, I guess, because it's a Carnival LR. Sorry about the big car that just drove by. It is kind of a cash grab, I guess, because it's like a Carnival LR and stuff, a tag and everything, but it does at least fit into the theme and stuff. So all of that is kind of pretty good in that sense. Okay, so Carnival LR and stuff, that's cool. Next thing, the schedule. So the schedule is getting a massive overhaul. So in previous years, before the sync up, right, at the beginning of the year, we had the JP side of things with the anniversary. Then we had the synced up Sunday celebration in March and April. Then the Golden Week celebration, which we're doing right now. Then we had the Tanabata campaign, and Global had specifically their anniversary, right? So this was on the JP side only. This anniversary was for the Global side specifically. And then we all went to the Worldwide Celebration campaign, and then we just continued going forward like this. Now, since the 10th anniversary, we had the sync up for the anniversary, then we have the same day celebration, then Golden Week. Now, these two are going to be different, and I believe they showed the next thing right here. There we go. So, what they're doing is now July and August, instead of the Tanabata campaign and the Global anniversary, that kind of period is going to be replaced with what they're calling the Global Dokkan campaign. Now, the way I'm kind of looking at this is this, in theory, should be basically these, like, revised version of the Worldwide Celebration campaign. And they said this is going to be on a scale very similar to the anniversary. It's going to be a very big scale. And actually, I guess if you look at the size of the text blocks and everything, you could argue this is maybe a bigger scale, but that's kind of like Mickey, I guess. That's kind of like a reach. But they do say this is going to be a very massive scale kind of celebration. We don't know exactly what's going to be a part of it. We don't know how it's going to work. It is very new. My expectation is this is going to be very similar in design to the Worldwide Celebration campaign. Basically, just move it up a bit. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. This is going to be very exciting, though. And, of course, that does mean we have something to look forward to for our Dragonstone. So we may want to start saving in that sort of sense right there, right? But definitely going to have that happen. And then they said going into September and October, we will get another type of campaign, which is going to be similar in scale to the Tanabata campaign. Now, it is worth mentioning, the Tanabata campaign is not one of the biggest campaigns in the game, right? I probably say it's like the third biggest. With the Tanabata campaign, typically what happens, we get a new theme and stuff. We get a Dokkan Fest LR, a Carnival LR, some new events, some new EZAs and stuff. And that's pretty much it. And we get the Tanabata banner, which gives us the reruns for anniversary characters and stuff. Now with the timing of things changing, I am kind of curious, are we going to get a Tanabata banner at this point in time? Is it going to have the reruns? Or are the anniversary characters going to rerun during this time period? Because typically anniversary characters show up 2 times in a year, right? They show up during the anniversary, and they show up maybe like midway through the year. So this global campaign kind of fits the middle of the year. Maybe this is when we'll see the anniversary characters rerun, which will be kind of like a good timing in that sense, and I think it'll be pretty awesome. So we'll have to kind of wait and see, but this being the new kind of big campaign, if you will, followed by the anniversary stuff, the Tanabata campaign kind of scale, kind of moving down here, is going to be very interesting for sure. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen, but it's going to be very exciting. Okay, the last thing I want to mention, like this is the last thing they pretty much cover, right? So they are adding a web store. Now, the web store basically, as it says right here, you can buy Dragonstones with a discount compared to the in-game prices, right? So if you're someone who spends, definitely go ahead and get into the web store. You know, you just need a Bandai account and then you can connect it with your game and stuff and do that. Definitely use this if you're buying Dragonstones. If you're someone like me who is not spending or anything like that though, you may be thinking, why do I want to do this? Well, they are offering some promotional codes. Now, some promotional codes will be happening during videos and stuff. We don't know exactly how it's going to work quite yet. We don't know how it's going to look, but they say you can exchange the codes for some in-game items. Now, if that's the case, then that can be done for everyone. That's basically free stuff. No one should be mad at free stuff, right? So everyone should sign up for the web store in general. You know, everyone should have that set up and everything. It's pretty easy to do. You just have to build a Bandai account and stuff and just link and everything. They show how to do it in game, of course. And also, you do get 15 Dragonstones by doing so. So there's more incentivized kind of focus right there. But, you know, if you can do so, you know, obviously you get those promotional codes that will help out. And again, if you ever decide, hey, you want to spend Dragonstones or you want to spend money, get Dragonstones and stuff for big summons like the anniversaries and stuff, this could be the way to do it. So definitely make sure to do this sort of stuff. I believe Dragon Ball Legends just did their own version of a web store, so it's kind of interesting in terms of the timing, but yeah, it's all really cool stuff. And, you know, really, that's pretty much the whole producer letter in a nutshell. Like, that's really all they covered. You know, the LR, the event updates. I'm very excited for a lot of the stuff. The ticket updates are really awesome. The LR, I'll break down her kit later, but I think she's going to be really good. It seems like a lot of people are saying that she's pretty good, so I'm very excited for that. Or not she, but they are pretty good, I should say. And yeah, I mean, overall, pretty exciting stuff. I'm very excited for this. I can't wait to go into part 2 of the celebration, because part 2 of the Golden Week celebration needs to end off on a high note. A Carnival Tag LR is a great way to start, but we need the events to cook. We need some EZAs maybe to cook, maybe Tech Kale and Cauliflower, who knows? But this is going to be very fun for sure. So yeah, I'm so excited for this. But that's going to be where we wrap up the vid. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think about the producer letter? What do you guys think about the ticket updates? What do you guys think about the Part 2 LR apparently not being officially an LR Kefla? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed the vid, again, show your support. Drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, as these guys say right here, of course. You know, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, stay blessed, and I will see you all in the next one.